What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of Overthinking Understanding Podcast. I'm your host, Victoria Moore, and we are back with another episode. All right, what's going on, beautiful people? If you heard that intro, you know we're back with another life changing episode. Today we have a guest, and I'm going to let him introduce himself. Can you introduce yourself for the audience?
Hi, my name is Reggie Bowes. I'm a life coach and a life hacker. I'm the founder of Dreamers of the Day, where we use intent combined with group intention to increase your manifestation. I cover
Okay.
everything from basic life coaching but the emphasis is on manifestation.
Okay. And what made you start that? Like, what made you start the Dreamers of the Day?
Way back, I was trying to find out success and how to be a success and how success works. And I remember I got a book when I was in my late teens on success. I read it, and it's like there was nothing in there that could really help you. It's like one guy was trying to find financing for his company. He went all over trying to find financing, turned down by multiple banks. And then he thought, oh, yeah, I'll go to my father. And he gave him a $20 million loan and he started his company. Well, that's not going to help me.
Yeah.
See, that's how the Sunny Success books, they're ridiculous. They're not going to help you. There's no knowledge in there. And then I started hearing about manifestation. I was checking out the different ways and groups. But then I was lucky enough to come upon the story of a lady from down in Texas who did manifestation and made manifestation work for her again and again and again. And it's more than just luck. I mean, her record, and you may have heard of her, Helene Hatzel.
I haven't heard it. You said she's from Texas?
Heard of it. Oh. Well, one of the guys that's in the book, The Secret, said that she should have been in The Secret. She was manifesting before it became popular. Anyway, she's passed away a few years ago, but I learned a lot from her, and using her methods is what has worked for me.
Okay. So you kind of brought it up when we are going to talk to today. You believe in like intentional living and basically just unlocking potential, because we all know that potential can be in all of us, but if we don't act on it, it's just potential. It's just this potential energy or a potential to be something great. But if we never lock into it, never open it up, then it'll just sit there and die with us as being potential. So you kind of said it. So overthinking versus manifesting, you already kind of hit on it, how you believe that manifesting is good. And we hear about it all the time. People speak about manifesting and manifesting your dreams and, watch what you say. And, the seeds that you plant, we can go on and on about metaphors for manifesting. But can you kind of walk us through if somebody's stuck overthinking about manifesting, or how would they manifest in a way that, like you said, that will help the common people? Are you able to walk us through that?
Okay, I'll break it down. Once again, Helene Hatzel broke it down to her formula, which worked for her.
Okay.
It's called SPEC. Select, project, expect, collect. First, you have to select. What is it you want? What do you want to have, be, or do? Get that clear in your mind. Then project it. See yourself already having it. What would it look like? I mean, people use this. It's a good metaphor, because most people would like to have a brand new, nice car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Okay. So how would your car look? What kind of car do you want? See yourself. See it in your driveway. See it. Like, how would it feel to be driving it? Like, don't necessarily see yourself driving it. See how the road, the car, and feel the new car. Feeling is a big thing.
Yes.
That's a very important part of manifestation.
Yes.
Then you expect it. Once you projected it, you expect it. It's coming. It's just like you ordered something at a restaurant, you order something online, you know it's coming. There's no doubt in your mind. And then collect it. But remember, you have to expect it to collect it. That flows right into the other.
Yes.
Spec. It's very simple formula. I mean, I can break it down other ways, but this is a simple formula to understand it. Select, project, expect, collect.
And like you said, I think that I never have heard that before, but I do think it's simple. I do think it's simple and it also makes sense. And I think expect is what a lot of people get, I would say, like misconstrued or maybe out of order. So people be expecting things, but then they don't necessarily project it. And like you're saying, understand how to get it. They just go through things or maybe fall from hard times, or how we hear people say like, "Oh, I came from nothing," and kind of like the world owes me something mentality. Like you can expect a whole bunch of things, but if you do not know how to get it, actually believe that you're gonna get it, then it's just an expectation that some way somehow the world is gonna work out and give you what you want. And would you say that's like the opposite of manifesting? Is that just a part of it, or how would you look at that perspective?
Well, manifesting sometimes, you see, it can fall into your lap like a fairy's gift.
Okay.
That's true. It can, but it doesn't necessarily work that way. There's a story I like to give. There was this guy that wanted to win the lottery.
Okay.
And he prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. Lord, let me win the lottery. He was talking about all the great things he would do, how he'd take care of his family, take care of his friends. Lord, please let me win the lottery. Well, time just kept passing. He wasn't winning. And he said, one night, he said, Lord, I've prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. Please, why are you not allowing me to win the lottery?
Yeah.
Well, that night, the angel of the Lord appeared to him and said, have you considered buying a
You cut
So
out.
you
What
might
was
have
it
to
at
do
the end?
something. You might consider buying a ticket. Helene Hatzel won a lot of prizes, but she had to enter the contest. People
Exactly.
always say, I never win anything. And she'd ask them, well, how many contests you entered? I said, well, I haven't entered.
Exactly. That's kind of like how it speaks about in the Bible, faith without works. You know, they say faith without
Yes.
works is dead. You have to kind of go with it, and I think that's what I be saying. What I believe that people do expect a lot of stuff, but they do not think they have to get it, or inside of our minds. And it kind of goes into the next question I want to ask you. Inside of our minds, we get caught up in overthinking, and we think that we're supposed to do 3, 4, or 5 things, and then we're supposed to get what we expect. But it may take 10 things, it may take 20 things. Like we
Yes.
we put like an expectation and a timeline on the journey, and then it only ends up kind of screwing us over in the end, because now you're disappointed, now you down, now you don't want to go buy a ticket, now you done bought 2, 3 tickets. And just like you said, the Lord never said that you're not gonna win the lottery, but He also didn't tell you when you were gonna win it. So I went and bought a ticket, and then I didn't get it. Okay, you bought one ticket. You bought one ticket. You don't just have one expectation. So to get into the next question I wanted to ask you, how do you distinguish overthinking from intentional thinking or manifestation?
Well, that's the thing. You don't have to make it overcomplicated. Once again,
Okay.
I refer to Helene Hatzel. When she first started getting involved in this, she read a book on positive thinking.
Okay.
And she read in there about Brilliant Tractor, where it said you can have anything you want as long as you know what it is, and you can see yourself as already having it. Well, she didn't know any better.
Yeah.
It's written by a doctor, so it's got to be true, right? Not overthinking it. Like there's a song, "What a fool believes he achieves, the wise man has the power to reason away."
Yeah.
Don't overthink it. It's simple, but also you don't put a time limit on it.
Exactly.
And also, so many people, I don't see how. Well, you don't have to see the how. You just have to
Exactly.
see what you want. The how is not important.
The how,
It may come this
exactly.
way, it may come that way. You may have to work for it. It can fall into your lap as a fairy's gift. I've had things happen where it's actually just boom, there it is. Or somebody out of the blue makes it happen. I didn't have to work for it. And other times I have to work my backside off to get it. So you just have in your mind what you want, and you need to just relax and think about it. And actually, this works. I mean, I use contemplation instead of meditation, but this can actually help your health. When you think about what you want, it relaxes you. You feel great because you're living in that already completed dimension.
Yes.
It's like it's already done. Because if there's something you really want and you feel, you can live, everything in your mind is just like it has already happened. But you're right, you don't have to overcomplicate it. And so many people do. Don't overthink it.
Yeah.
It gets in the way.
What you said at the end kind of it resonated with me for something that I had started saying. Like I used to tell people like, "Oh man, you delusional," or you hear like people talking about being delusional, and it was such a negative thing to me. Like, you think something just gonna happen out of the thin air? You think you just gonna keep moving that way and something's gonna happen? But then I've learned through just like you say, not necessarily miracles, but miracle type S doesn't happen with certain situations I put myself in that I've got something that I don't necessarily feel like I'm qualified for, but I was qualified enough to get into the door. And I was like, I'm learning like you do need a little bit of delusion. Like you need a little bit of I don't see it, but I do believe that I can see it. And that could be coming from living in a tent to being like, I'm gonna have a 4 or 5 bedroom one day with a pool in the back. Like you talking to somebody that's in the tent with you and they like, you delusional. But truthfully, you're manifesting it. You're not saying that it's going to happen tomorrow. You're not saying that you're not going to have to do nothing to get there. You're just saying like, that's what I'm going to have. And I'm going to set up what I need to do and whatever steps I need to have that. So I think that is very true. So
Yeah, I
what,
think,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
and that's fine. I think a lot of times people, and when you first, especially when you're first starting it, before you get some wins under your belt,
Yeah,
you shouldn't discuss it with other people
exactly.
unless you're discussing people that are already doing this and believe it.
Exactly.
Then you
Exactly.
discuss it then, but don't go with those because there's already enough negative thinking in the world without adding to it. But I think a lot of people deep down they don't believe they deserve it, even when they
Yes.
start manifesting.
Yes.
That's why I explain to people you got to understand who you are. One of the things I'm big on is attitude.
Yes. Yes,
You have
sir.
to know who you are and what you are. An example I give: when a dog has babies, it
Mm-hmm.
has dogs.
Yes.
When a cat has babies, it has cats. Now, are you a child of God?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Then what kind of, what are you?
I'm a Christian.
You're a child of God.
I'm a child of God, Christ follower.
Yes. Now, does God want you, down nothing? Like living under a bridge with like one guy put, living under a bridge with a bike with one tire?
No, no, of course not.
No, of
He
course not.
promised you abundance.
Yes. And you have to start living in that.
Yes,
And
sir.
believe, there's a lot of Christians, there are a lot of Christians believe manifestation, but there's also a lot of Christians that somehow their preacher or what they believe has said negative things against it. But if you want to go by the Bible, it says, what the wicked fear will come upon them, and what the righteous desire they'll receive. It says it. It's right
Yes.
there.
Yes, sir.
So, some preacher talking against manifestation. From the way I read it, it falls right in line with Bible teaching. And it's just not the Bible. You can read the Quran, or you can read, Old Testament, or even Hindu. All these religions have a part in there where manifestation works.
It kind of run. They kind of run into each other. And like you're saying, what you're saying, a lot of preachers do speak about like, and I always say it's sowing seeds, but it's the same thing. Like you plant the seed in the ground, you plant a seed is whatever it's gonna be, tomatoes, fruit tree, whatever, and you have to water it without seeing the roots going down to the ground before you ever see the a stem or a piece of stem break the dirt where you could actually see like, okay, what I'm doing, kind of like the reward. When you start seeing the result of it, you're like, okay, now I can water it because I know. But you have to water it before then. And I think, like you're saying, it falls in line with manifestation because you have to tell yourself and have yourself understand, like, I'm doing this to get to my car. I'm doing this to get to the house that I want, or just the life that I want in general. So I have to water this dream and nurture this dream in order to do that. So what does collective manifestation look like in a community of dreamers for your foundation, like dreamers of the day?
Well, what's us based on the premise that the belief with enough energy behind it, a dream has to manifest. And group energy can work better than single energy. A person can do it by himself, but like I say, why would you play baseball, football, soccer without a coach and a team?
Of course not.
A coach and a team will help you get it done a lot quicker without. That's what Dreamers Today was about. Having a
Okay.
coach, myself, and a team all working together for each other's benefit.
Okay.
Put that in give an example. Years ago, there was a late night radio TV program with Art Bell. Have you ever heard of it?
No, sir.
Well, sometimes, us old timers, we know. Anyway, Art Bell, he had his audience. There was drought in different parts of America. And he would have his audience concentrate or pray for rain in this drought stricken area. Well, he quit doing it because every time they do it, they'd have a flood.
Mm.
That's in positive, group intention. It makes a difference. And even like witches, which I don't, I make a distinction. What I do is wishcraft, not witchcraft.
Yeah.
But even witches have a coven, because even they have enough sense to know a group working together will get it done quicker. It's because it's all energy. It can be used. It's like electricity. It can be used for good or bad, but a group working together can get it done a lot faster. And that group energy, well, it works better. It works faster. It's like manifestation on steroids is what I call it. So get in with a group. Even Lee Nancy used to say that. Now her group should have groups where they all would contest together and tell each other about contests, and they encourage each other in what they won and what they're entering, and some contests somebody may have heard. But a group, that helped her a lot. She says, when you want to get serious about this thing, you join a group. Now, I have a group. I think it's a great group, but on an off point, even if you join me or not, you need to join a group that helps it work better.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's what's so cool about Facebook. Not going political or anything with it, but Facebook, you can join a group for almost anything.
Yes.
If you can think of it, nails, book clubs, Jeeps, I can go on. And just like even with the podcast team, some of the most success that I've had with bringing guests on, of course, I get a lot of emails like, hey, can you come on, this, that, and the third, but it's coming through podcast groups and just putting yourself out there in these groups. And what you said is so powerful and it's so simple, but it may sometimes people overthink it and would be like, it's not that simple. And you have to understand that it is. Like the biggest building that you've seen started off simple, from laying of the smallest concrete to putting down the first pole and the smallest mirror. And I'm saying that to say that it's a belief. And like you said, having people, you said it earlier where you were like, don't necessarily tell anybody what you have going on unless they're doing what you're doing. And it's true, because it's just like when you're praying. I'm a firm believer that if you're praying for somebody or you want somebody to pray for you, it's so important to ask somebody like, what are you praying for? So it's just like, and I bring this situation up because my brother's been sick for a minute, but I have a little brother that's dying of cancer. And some people pray like, oh, we pray for strength and pray that he get better at everything. But my little brother is like, I'm tired of feeling like this. Like, I want to go over to the other side. I have made peace with passing. And it's just like anything else. Like somebody could be praying for your company to be super mogul, and you're praying for your company to be able to help the community or better with the community. So I think that's so powerful what you're saying. Like joining a group and having the attention of, we want this to be successful, and we want to work together for this to be successful. And what does successful look like? What does successful look like to your group? So I think that's powerful. I think that's very cool. Where does your group operate out of?
It's online.
It's online. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the way.
It's
That's the way to
Dreamers of the Day. It's
Dreamers.
all right. ourdreamis.com. R, letter R, then dreamis.com. Small letters. And
Okay.
what you said about being overthinking is very true. It's just like, I'm a big believer in KISS. You've heard that, right?
Yeah. Keep it simple, stupid. Yeah.
Keep it simple.
I've been in the Army 10 years. We said so.
Yeah.
I was taught it
Keep it
from
simple,
the
stupid, and
puppy.
keep it stupid simple.
Yeah.
That's why I believe there's a person needs three things to succeed in life:
What they
a
need.
wishbone, a backbone, and a funny bone.
I like that.
Because the
wishbone, backbone, funny bone.
You believe what you think, wish, desire can come true. You work on it, believe it. And a backbone, you got to stick with it. You got a backbone. You're going, you're, excuse the expression, hell bent on success. You got to, whatever comes, I don't care, get knocked down. This is where I'm going. This is what I'm going to do. And funny bone, because if you don't have a sense of humor, life can knock you down, keep you down. So you better
learn how to laugh through it. You better learn how to laugh at yourself and laugh at the process. Yeah.
But like I said, you keep it simple. Too many people want to complicate it, and a lot of times somebody complicates it because it helps them with their sales. They think you got to do this and you got to do that. You got to join this group. You got to go this seminar, on and on. And that's one thing I'm big on. And it may come back to bite me in the backside, but I will never upsell.
Yes.
The only thing I'm selling,
I'm a big believer in that. Even with like the pictures and stuff on the internet, people be like, you just don't care about the pictures you post, or you don't want to wear a little makeup here and there. And like, don't get me wrong, sometimes it's good, it's great, but like what you saying, I'd rather you meet me in person and be like, oh, you don't look like your pictures in a good way, or oh, you look better than I thought. And it's not trying to look better on and I'm only using like, the world is internet and presenting so well on the internet, but then you have to sell it in person. Unless you're just an internet personality, then we'll never know what you look like or outside of it. But when people
but what I
actually
mean by upsell is
go
when
ahead,
somebody said, like, they're going to sell you a program for about $100 and they're trying to sell you a $5,000 program. I'm
exactly,
not going to do that.
yeah,
I have my group that you join, or later on I'm going to be coming out with a book. But besides that, I'm not going to sell you. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm never going to upsell you. If my group can't help you, my book can't help you, my $5,000 program's not going to help.
is you like, oh,
I'm not going to upsell.
come to this free seminar, and then the whole time at the
Right?
seminar
They're
they're
just
trying.
trying to upsell you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understood, and like I say,
I understand that, but that's
it's a way to
I'm
work.
not going to do it
Exactly,
because I want to make this affordable to everybody. If you got
exactly.
the right attitude, I'm going to try. I'm going to do everything I can to help you, but I'm not
Make
going to
sure you're
upsell
good.
you.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree. I understand what you're saying, and
And
like I
that's
said, I
being
look at it
upfront
both.
with your prices. You're not trying to move them on into something else. And here, like a lot of times you trying to find out about something and they want you to listen to a 30-minute thing before they even mention the price.
Is it exactly because
Right.
they're
Here it
trying to
is.
get it
Here it is. It's
sold
up
on you.
front. You know, and another thing, I don't try anymore. I don't try to convince anybody of what I do or how I do it. And like I cover a lot more than just manifestation and life coaching, but I'm just like I was putting out, like I said, I'm searching for my tribe.
Mm,
If what I do makes sense to you, if it resonates with you, great. If not, go somewhere else. Maybe somebody else can help you better.
mm. I like that.
I'm not trying to convince anybody anymore.
You're not trying to pull in you're not trying to pull in every
No,
single body. And sometimes people do
no,
get caught up in the numbers, and if I have these numbers, then that means that I'm being successful. So then, like you said, it goes into the upselling or trying to
right,
present is something so different than what it actually is, because you don't really care about keeping the people. Now you're just thinking about the money. If I can get 10 people in the
exactly.
building and 2 to sign up, and my goal was always walking away with 5,000. Now I have 10. I could care less if it changed your life or not. Um, so going into the next one, because you kind of hit on it a little bit. So
Okay.
life hacking, and mindset optimization. Like when I say those words, what does that mean to you? Like what is some strategies or mindsets or habits that helps you
Life
with
hacking,
performance?
best way to describe it, I mean, besides the manifestation thing, you have to decide what you want. Well, I say, it could be a generalization, but mostly I think it's best to be crystal clear about
Yeah,
what you want.
yeah.
And then set up your life in such a way that you can get it.
Okay.
Now, success leaves clues. You can, like, if there's somebody has done something that you're trying to do, study them. You may not have
Mm.
to do it exactly like them, but you can study them. You don't have to always reinvent the wheel.
Can you say that one more time? Success lead. What do you say? Success
Success leaves
leaves.
clues.
Ooh, I like
You
that.
don't have to do everything exactly like them, but you don't have to reinvent the wheel either.
Exactly. I like that. Success leaves clues. I'm gonna be taking I'm gonna be taking some of your nuggets. I like that. Success
Success
leaves
leaves
clues.
clues. Like one example, winners basically have something common. Like you have 100 millionaires, you have 100 million different ways they made a million.
Yes.
But they'll probably have the same thing. They know what they wanted, or they know what they want. They see themselves already having it. They know they're going to get it. And there's fourth thing I'd add, I've already talked about before, is attitude.
Mm.
They
Attitude.
know, maybe, at first it seems like they're delusional, but they know they can do this. They know they're going to get it. Somehow, some way, yes, I'm going to do this. And, well, another thing, like I said, everything's energy. And sometimes in your journey, you're going to have to get rid of people in your journey.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I don't care if you're an Olympic athlete, Olympic swimmer, try to swim it with a stone around your neck. They're going to drag you down. And like I said, you haven't got time for the losers in your life. I mean, I'm more willing to help anybody, but they have to be open to help. I'm not going to drag them
Exactly.
kicking and screaming
Exactly. And I think
to the finish line.
that's a hard thing for us to try to learn, because you want the people
You want
kind
to
of
help
that
everybody, yeah,
you want to help everybody, and you want the people that you started with. And just like you said, it's kind of harsh, and but it's straightforward. A lot of people tell me I be too assertive. They like, stop being an asshole, like. But kind of what you saying, like sometimes people are just losers, and you do not mean it in a demeaning way. Everybody doesn't want to be the best. Everybody doesn't want to be the middle or mediocre. Some people just want to be what they want to be. And
yeah,
sometimes we hurt our own feelings, or like you say, we try to get people to do what we're doing, and now we're trying to swim or fly with this anchor, because it's telling, some people are telling us, and it may not be so much with their words, but with their actions, like, I don't want what you want, or I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine with being down here. I don't want to swim. I like chilling at the shore. I don't want to see the clouds. I like being on the landing strip. This is what I want. So, and I think it's important to just learn to know that you can still be friends with those people, but it has to be a disconnect, because okay, I don't want to stay on the ground. I want to fly. I don't want to stay here at the shore. I want to swim, and that is okay. You don't have to necessarily look down at a person, or make a person feel like they're not doing something because that's what you want to do. And that kind of reverts to what you're saying with trying to find your tribe. Like, I'm putting this
yes,
out here. This is what I want. This is what we do. If you want it, come on. If you don't, come on. Like you say, I'm not trying to
that's it.
upsell you. I'm not trying to present nothing that's no
Exactly,
more. This is like, of course, you're gonna pay me for the skills and the time and what I know that my product is worth, but no more, no less. No more, no
exactly.
less. What? So I think that is powerful. What are some powerful life hacks that you've seen that throughout your clients that has helped them change their lives?
Well, they like I said, the best thing is when they learn who they are,
Mm. Man.
when they learn that they're a child of God.
Yeah.
Because some people, like their attitude is going to drag them down. I mean, it's once again going to the law of attraction. A stick is not going to attract like a magnet will.
Exactly.
You gotta like put that wire coal around yourself, or you're going to start attracting stuff. You gotta have that attitude about yourself. It says like, I'm not better than anybody else, but here's what I am.
Yes.
I know who I am. I know I'm a child of God,
Exactly.
and I know that if I contemplate something, it's going to become reality. If I stick to it, it's only my own doubt and my own self that's going to stop it.
Exactly.
And like I said, this stuff is not new. I'm also a student of history. Like
Yeah, you sound like my dad. He's such a big history buff. He's such a student of history.
I mean, study how Napoleon won. Study how Genghis Khan won. Now, you may not think somebody think highly of Genghis Khan, but you study his own history. This man was a literate hunter herdsman. He conquered the world. He was not like the son of a king. He was not some guy in an already established army. He was a nobody.
Mm, mm, mm.
His dad was fairly well known, but his dad was murdered, and then he was cast out of his tribe with him, his mommy, in the small group they had. They're just thrown out in the Mongolian wilderness. What's the saying? Root hog or die. And yes, his mom had to run around, dig up roots
And
to feed him, or they'd have starved to death. And he came from that beginning and conquered the world. Now,
mm,
what is about him? Well, he had an attitude. He knew somehow, some way that he was special.
he had an attitude and like you said, a self belief, and that's why I
Yes.
said it's even what you said. I'm the same person, but it ties into what you said about success has clues,
Hmm.
regardless, because like a lot of people get caught up in the messenger or be like the big action that a person did. But that's why I always say, if I echo it out to all of my episodes, and I take it down to strippers and drug dealers and simple stuff like that, because those are some of the lowest lows that people look at. But it's like in any form that you can find somebody that's successful at the craft that they have chosen, you could do something by studying them, because if anybody could do it, and it'll be the same outcome for everybody, then
I'm glad you
everybody will
brought that
do
up.
it.
I
But
got a
it's
great
not the
example.
truth. Yes, sir.
Freeway Ricky.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, the drug dealer from LA?
Yeah.
Yeah. The principles are all the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be drugs. The principles are all the same.
All the same. All the same. Like you said, success. I really like that. Success has tools. It's gonna stick out for me for a little bit. Okay, so for the listeners, can you give me like small impactful habits that can shift a person's day? Like you're talking about attitude, self belief. Just can you give me like you got any other small habits
Well,
or
there's
maybe
real simple ones
routine?
like when you get up in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
you just look in the mirror and go, hey, or just go like this from time to time. I am somebody.
Yes. Yeah.
And start saying it till you believe. Well, once again, it's clues. Like Muhammad Ali was saying he was the greatest long before he was.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to the GOAT. If you do, you know Clarissa shit. There's a female boxer. She says she the greatest of all time, but she got a lot of accomplishment.
But
But
there's little things. There's just like once again, like Helene Hetzel, like she used to wear a rubber band around her wrist, and she started thinking negative. She'd snap that thing.
I have heard about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
just
heard
snap
it.
out of it.
I heard about that effect. I don't know if I heard it from that person, but I've heard about that effect. Like
Right?
it kind of bring you back. Like you get to
Yeah.
drift in, you get into like a negative space or a rubber band, something that's elastic that you could pop, and it's like kind of bringing you back aware of is negative, come back to it. And I think that's a big thing. Is like you saying like it's simple, and but like once again, a lot of people overthink it, and it's
Right.
just like it has to be a understanding in the belief of yourself. And even with myself, I had to learn when I started being successful, and you kind of get that imposter syndrome. It's like you truly believe, like you said earlier, that you don't deserve it, and
Right.
that's rooted in just like you said, not having self belief and not having the attitude that I am worth it. Like you said, I'm not better than anybody, but I also know that I'm different. I'm not saying that your normal makes you whatever. I just know that I'm different, and I believe that I'm different. So not in a negative way where people challenge it, like, oh, you're not nobody, and you think you're special, you treating somebody crazy. We're not speaking about it like that. It's just me saying that I'm going to be great because I know that I'm different. So you say it's so subtle, and you probably done perfected it, like you're older, but it's just so subtle. But you're saying powerful things so calmly, like yeah, this, and I'm like everybody doesn't get that, and I just want to like jump off the couch. Take that's the point. Like that's the whole episode
Mhm.
right there. But you're just so calm with it. Like yes, this is how it is. It's like so yeah, that's pretty cool. You have a I thought you was getting ready to speak. Did you have anything else
Oh, I
to say?
probably was, but I
Oh,
was listening to you.
oh. It's probably a delay. I was like, what happened? So we talked about it a little bit already, but it's the third question for this segment. You studied the patterns of successful people. What's a standout mindset or ritual that you think more people should adopt?
Um, well, there was this guy in Silicon Valley, and this was back in the day when the computers were first getting started and everything.
Okay.
And he wasn't the first person that IBM came to, but IBM would not announce when they were coming. So the first person they come to was not his office, he's out flying his plane. So they just passed him and they went to another guy. And this guy did not have what they were looking for, but he didn't tell them that. He said, yeah, I can handle that. And then he went where he knew he could get it.
Mm, yeah.
See,
Yeah.
say yes, then figure out how to make it happen. You get some opportunity drops in your lap, say yes, then figure out how to make it happen.
Yes.
Give
Yes.
an
Yes.
example.
Yes.
There's some actors or actresses, they don't like, can you ride a horse? Sure. Can you, when you want to do diving scene, can you dive? No problem. Yeah, I dive all the time. They have to take a course real quick from somebody, teach them, because in a week they're going to have to do it. So they say yes, and they'll say, well, I can't do that. I don't know that.
Man, and that man, and once again, that's something that is crazy. You said so calm, and I had to learn that because you're taught. It's kind of like that thought process of everything has to be in line, and you're taught that you have to be the master of all these trades. When it's really like that's not even how it works. A lot of successful people, and even reading, I think I don't want to pronounce his name wrong. I think it's George Cardone or whatever, or just like when he's saying like he has a goal and he has stuff that he wants to do, he'll be like, if I have money put aside, I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna touch the money. But if my mom needs something, anything like that, I'll be like, okay, I'll take care of it. But then I tell myself I have to go make that money. Even if I have it sitting there, if I know that it's allocated and put out for something else, I tell myself I'm not touching this money and I have to go make it. And I just think it's powerful to believe like, yes, believe in your ability. And I call it the ability to figure it out. Believe in your ability to figure it out, because it still takes a special type of person to take on a role or take on a job or whatever, where you know like, I don't really know that, or I don't know it at all, but I know that if you give me, how much time do I have to do it? This gonna start in a month. We gonna start filming in 2 weeks. Okay, I'll have it by then. I'll have it by then, and I'll be able to do it. And I had to learn that. And it's not necessarily being an imposter, like you're saying. It's just a part of manifesting. Like, you're not trying to get over on nobody or anything. You know that you are set or you're right for this role. You're just missing this small thing. So you have to tell yourself, if I'm going to let this little small thing that I'm missing make me miss out on this big opportunity, or am I going to go fix this small thing? So once again, like I think that's pretty cool, and we'll be
I'll
a
add
lot
a
better.
little in there, like you're talking about goals. Also, I tell people use words that work for you.
Yes. Oh man.
Sometimes I mention goals because everybody says goals, but my one word that I use is targets,
Yes. Yes.
because I
Yeah.
have a target. That works better for me than goals.
Yeah.
And some people use affirmations. That's great, but I
Mhm.
use what I call incantations,
Hmm.
a more intensive affirmation.
Okay.
Now, what we was talking about earlier, like one guy would say, I kind of agree with this in a way, but like affirmations can work by themselves, but affirmations without discipline is the beginning of delusion.
Yeah.
Affirmations with discipline creates miracles.
Yeah. I like
Like I
that.
said, it can't fall into your lap like a fairy gift, but you'll probably have to do something.
Exactly. It can be there how you think it's there, but not the way that you think it's gonna happen. I like that. Can you say that one more time?
Uh, Affirmations with discipline. No, affirmations without discipline is the beginning of
Beginning of
delusion,
delusions. Yeah.
but affirmations with discipline
It's a
creates
beginning.
miracle.
Yeah. I like that. And so going into the next segment, it's kind of goes into what you're saying. So breaking through mental blocks. So like you're saying, like you have affirmations, but you don't have any discipline. And it's kind of what I was saying earlier with like the expectations. Like you expect these things, but you don't. You think they're just gonna fall into your lap. And sometimes it, like you're saying, it can happen, but
Yeah, it
just
can
being
happen. It has.
disciplined enough to show up every day. Like you like, I
Right?
don't want to walk, I don't want to run, and you happen to walk and run into the right
That's the
person.
backbone part.
Exactly. Like, and then it's like it kind of did just fall into your lap, but like kind of like what we saying earlier, you had to do some type of action to get to it. So what kind of like, so like overcoming like the self doubts, the fears, getting out of that delusion where it's like, okay, I believe, like like you're saying, believing, manifesting, affirmation, goals, steps, whatever you have to tell yourself. You made it to that point where you really believe that something is going to happen. How do we get past the point to actually start? Now the fear kicks in. Now it's like, don't get off that couch. Don't go outside and go run. You're just gonna fail again. It's not gonna work out the way you think it's gonna work out. How do we, like, what advice would you give to the listeners to get past that? Like, you are able to
Once
do it.
again, like in manifestation, you're projecting, so you get a vision of what you want,
Mm-hmm.
and that vision has to be so strong and so compelling that it will pull you.
Pull you
It
towards
will
it.
actually pull you. You don't have to really work hard as much anymore to get out of bed or make it happen because it's pulling you.
Mm.
It is just like a force pulling you out
Okay.
because you see that vision or projection of what you want to be or have or do so bad that it pulls you forward. There's a constant there. I mean, and it is so, for lack of a better word, it's so beautiful and so compelling that you want this thing and it's pulling you. And whatever happens around you, you see that far more than what you see in your own little reality. And like some people say, it's hard for them to get their heads around it at first, but it's easy to manifest $1 million house as it is to manifest a cup of coffee.
Yes, it is. Yes, it
And I've
is.
seen times in the past where I couldn't afford a cup of coffee, but somehow I got that cup of coffee.
So
And it may not seem, but it's, because something's big, it seems like it's a big thing to manifest, but it's easy. Somebody else put it, it's easy to manifest what you want as it is to manifest the thimble.
yeah. And it just and like you say, that's why I say it's so funny, like overthinking understanding. Like if you sit and think about it, some of the bigger things that came in your life was easier than the smallest thing. And people
Yes.
get so irritated when it be like, I promise you that yes, I have done a lot of things and I have traveled around all over the world and these great things have happened. But it started with doing a small little thing. It started with just signing up to do this, or it started with just like you say, being in the right place at the right time, feeling like, all
Right.
right, I don't want to get out of bed. It took something as simple as putting my clothes on, putting the putting clothes on, going out to a place that I really didn't want to go, but I was just being lazy and I end up going and then boom, like magic happened. Like people, the big things are really what comes a little bit easier than the small things. Like it's gonna be harder to make your first dollar or get your first podcast listen or get your first view than it is to do 1,000 or 2,000 views. So it's just like you said, it's just a belief and it's the fine line. Like you put it so perfect with the like you have these expectations, but you don't have any way to get it. Like you're breeding delusion, but if you have these manifestations plus discipline, now you're in the process of creating the miracle that you're working on. So
And
it's
also,
all
that's why
about
it's
your
so
approach.
important to have a group of some sort. You
Yeah,
have to like a team. And I'm
yes.
big on, I'm big on team. One of my sayings is teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes, yes.
Because guess what? Life. You're going to
Mhm.
get knocked down.
Yep,
There's no getting around it. You're going to get knocked down.
yep.
And if you have a strong social network, it will catch you.
Exactly, exactly.
So team, you got to have people work with. Nobody does it alone. People always say self-made millionaire. I don't buy it.
Mm.
They had a wife that put up with it. They
Yeah,
had the children that put up with it.
yeah.
And it's you got to have a team.
Yes. And also diversity, like what you're saying, like even some of these now I'll be able to re-listen to this episode or while I'm editing this episode, check it out and check out some of the books and some of the people that you're talking about. That's why I'm always big in diversity within teams too, because you can have the same dream, kind of like you talked about earlier. Like you have people that's working towards the same dream, same goal, same
Mm-hmm.
manifestation as you, but they coming at it at a totally different angle because they came through two different walks of life, but y'all all ended up in the same place. So I do believe that like they say like the joke. I think it's a comedian. He was like, you don't really need just like a full blown team. You just need three powerful people, and you can get it done. But like you say, it's still a team. It's just like when people talk about
Mm-hmm.
boxing. It's only one person that's gonna go in there and fight. And once you get hit in the mouth, yeah, sometimes like you get punched, and I'd be like, Coach, leave me alone. I'm not thinking about nothing that you're thinking about. Now I'm upset, but it still took a team to get you in the ring, and it's gonna take
Right.
a team to get you through the fight. So, like you said, a team is powerful. So, how do you
Team is
feel?
important.
It's not a question that I was going to ask, but you bringing it up, and it's just is jogging me because I feel like in society now we're taught so much to be isolated and just even speaking about like this you brought up the Bible, so yeah, I don't want to assume, but Christ follower or whatever, and in the Bible they talk about the city of Babel and the reason that kind of they was trying to build the tower up to the heavens, so in mid construction then all these different languages and stuff has been broken down and came. So I like people always teach about it, but I always took away from that story is just like we are so powerful if we work together. Because if
Oh
it
yeah.
was if it was no way for us to get to heaven, he never would have, in my system, like, sometimes in the Bible all we can kind of do is speculate. But if they weren't ever gonna reach the heavens, he wouldn't never made them speak different languages. But y'all are working together and y'all might get up here. Let me fix this. Y'all don't need to be coming up here. So to get to the long way around my question, how do you feel where when we come in a society where it kind of teaches us not to trust people, people are bad, men are bad, women are bad, the different races are bad. Stay within your race, stay out of your race. How do you build this team when we are really getting traumatized to not even work with people?
That's true. But that's why I talk about finding your tribe. You find somebody, whatever, race, religion, whatever, that resonates with you, that's on a similar path than you, and you get associated with them. And sometimes, it's just like there's somebody you want to learn from. You can can I take out your trash?
Yeah.
Can I take you to coffee?
Yeah.
I just want to pick your brain for an hour.
Yeah.
You find out how many people are actually open to something. They're
Yeah.
open to it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of old millionaires out there. Nobody's listening to them.
Exactly. They live on your street, and
Yes.
you're DMing the rapper or the mogul, and you have somebody with quadruple their life savings in your
Right.
neighborhood right now. And it's
And
funny that
you
you said
just don't
that.
know. And it's hard. That's one thing's good about, even though the isolation, by being online, you can sometimes find your team.
Exactly. That's what's so cool about the internet. It can put you with all these different. You could be here, and like we're gonna be here. We're gonna shoot this episode in the States, and then it's gonna go all over the world, places that we're physically are never gonna have to be. So, like you said, I think that's powerful. That's pretty cool. Like, I'm
But
thoroughly
you talk
enjoying this
about like the
episode.
Tower of Babel, like I said, the energy is the same. The
Yeah,
principle's the same. They
principle
were
the
maybe
same.
like using it for the right way,
Yeah.
but by them being united, it made a difference.
It made it different, and it got it noticed. Just like you saying with building your tribe or building your team, if you're by yourself and you're standing in the street and you're trying to stop something, and it's one person, and you get somebody else, and it's two, and it's three, and it's four. The bigger you are to be noticed. It could have been one person down there building it, and step by step, and it would have probably took him a little bit longer to be noticed. Or like I'm saying, like, all right, you ain't never gonna get up here. I'm not worried about it. So it's just getting over that fear and understanding that, yeah, you do need a team, but your team, that's why I say the overthinking understanding part, your team is not going to be or may not be the people that you want. Like if y'all are
Right.
not working for the same goals or y'all are not on the same page, but you're letting this emotional connection or you have a bigger belief that you have to make it to the finish line with the people that you started with, you're going to hold yourself back from your tribe because it may
Yeah.
not be and it's a blessing and it's great when it is that person. But once again, I love getting people on here that are Christians that I don't even know is Christians. So we literally email. We be like, all right, let's do it. We work for the podcast, and we don't really have a report session all the time. So but I love when I get people on as Christians so I can talk Bible I can talk Bible all day long. But even with that, I think about some of the strongest stories in the Bible is when the families kind of like discarded that person and that person still went on to be great inside of another family. And even when I talk about Jesus, it's the same way. Like, Jesus was cast away, they marry and all of that. It's like you can be strong. A lot of people be like, I have to do this with my family. But once again, like you said, success has clues. And a lot of
Mhm.
people did not start with their family. A lot of people didn't start with their family and then finished with a stronger family, a stronger dynasty or whatever. And a lot of people started with their family but did not end with them. And that's just what it is. Like they still have a team. You still made the goal that you wanted, but if you make the goal sometimes and it could just be the way I look at it, sometimes I feel that people make the goal of these personal connections stronger than their vision, stronger than their manifestation. So you're getting truly what you're manifesting because you really want a connection. You say you really want this house, this, that, and the third, but you really want somebody to be there with you. So if that's the case, you might have to sacrifice the house, the car that you want to stay where you at, to stay walking, to stay in the tent. So yeah, I thought that's pretty cool. That's so
I have I think a pretty good biblical analogy
what you got?
about keeping your eye on the ball or keeping your eye on the prize.
Mm-hmm.
When David met Goliath, when he first met Goliath, it says in the Bible, all Israel ran. That means David too. David ran.
Yeah.
God's so scary, he ran right with them.
Yeah.
But then when he got back with the people, they started talking about what the king was going to do for the guy who got rid of Goliath. oh, going to get the queen's daughter? Going to be rich? Going to be get this, get that? And he kept asking everybody, and that's why the story got back to the king about this young guy asking everybody what's going to happen if you take care of Goliath.
This
Because he
small
started
young
thinking once
guy.
he got back, wait a minute, I killed a lion.
Yeah.
I killed a bear.
Yeah.
This Goliath ain't that big. His eye was on the prize, not on the problem.
Exactly. And then once again, something so small, a rock hitting this giant temple, and he was able
Right.
to conquer him.
And also, you
cut
know,
his head off.
you know, he got 5 rocks. You know why?
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
Why?
Why he got the 5 rocks?
He got 5 rocks because Goliath had 4 brothers. Rock per giant.
The smooth stones.
Yeah. See, but he knew. That's how confident. Once he decided, that's how confident he was. 1 rock, 1 giant, 1 giant, 1 rock.
And that's,
so he knew. That's why he took 5. He didn't think I'm going to miss. I don't miss.
I'm not missing.
But there's 4 brothers out there.
So I might have to deal with all of them.
I might have to take care of them too.
And that's what I think that's kind of what we're saying with that form of delusion. It's different when the outside world sees you as delusional, but you know what you are within yourself, or your group knows what you are. That's a different type of delusion, because that's not you lying to yourself, saying that, kind of like you said earlier, like, I know that I can't swim, but I'm going to take this role and a miracle is going to happen. No, I'm going to take this role and then I'm going to learn how to swim. So just like with like you saying, David and Goliath, like, people were like, this dude about to get killed because I wouldn't be able to do it. I couldn't do it. And it's kind of like what you said earlier, like, I'm not better than nobody, but at the same time, you are not me. So it's just like, and I always reverted lately to getting out of the service because I've been in for so long. And so many people tell me, like, stay in, you love the military, this, that, and the third. And it's just like, you're not going to make it on the outside world. And it's not them saying anything to discourage you they're not trying to be negative. But 9 times out of 10, when we're in the service for a long time, the service is all that you know. So you're telling me what you know, and I'm telling you, like, I believe and I know that it's greater possibilities outside of here. And just how I'm such a valuable person inside of this organization, I can go build in the organization just as great, or be powerful inside of an organization just that great. So just like what you're saying, I think that's just a life hack within itself, like, just a belief in the attraction. And like they say, like, don't chase. You chase something. If you're chasing something, then it's running after you. So if you gotta chase it, it may not mean for you to go like, oh, I'm attracting her. No, if she's running away from you, you might want to switch up your strategy. She may not be interested in your approach. So I think that's
a lot
pretty
of people,
cool.
what holds back is their fear.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite sayings also, if you're scared, don't do it. And if you're doing it, don't be afraid.
Exactly.
If you're afraid, don't do it. And if you're doing it, don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
But to me, I understand there's a fear stepping out into the unknown. Yes. But to me, to fail is a greater fear than the fear of succeeding.
Yes. Yes. And once again, reverting back to what you were saying earlier, clues to success, I think that's a fear for a lot of people that's not successful, just to sit there and think about, because a lot of people think trying and doing and failing is failing, but you did something. But failing is never to start it off. And like, once again, it's so simple that people believe like it's more than that. No, if I go to the track meet and I fail, then I failed. That's it. But it's like, no, because sometimes just starting and running that race, you realize like it's not as hard as I thought it was. Or I can train harder, and I have set and ran on the same track with a number 1 person. The next time I can be that number 1 person. So it's just that, like what you're saying, it's like success has tools. Follow people or look at the routines of people that has been successful. You do not have to follow them, and that's where it gets weird, where people kind of like worship celebrities or just worship what they could see. We're not saying that. You have your belief system, what you believe in. Worship that. All I'm saying is that it's success. You can find ways to be successful by watching these people, but don't make that your pinnacle, or don't make that your goal. Like, oh, they did this and they came from that, and I want to be just like them. Sometimes you find
talking about running, the guy who broke the 4-minute mile.
Yes.
After he broke it, a whole bunch of people broke it.
Exactly.
He showed it was possible.
Before
then, it wasn't possible.
Exactly.
That's why find somebody who's doing what you want to do.
because it's
And
out there. It's out
success
there.
leaves clues.
And that's why my dad be so big in talking about history. Like he always say, like it's nothing new under the sun. And
Right.
sometimes it's true, and that's true because it's stuff that may be new to you that you have never seen, but other people done seen it. That's why I said it's the power of getting out of your own way, getting out of your own head, getting into that group, learning the diversity. I think that's what's so powerful about just traveling outside of America in general. Like the way that you're taught and the way that hey, smile at people and be polite and hold the door, which is embedded in us. That's how we are. But then you go to somewhere like Europe, and it's just like they don't want you smiling at them. No, thank you. Don't need to hold the door. Tipping is such a big thing in America, and then you go to other countries, and it's like you don't think I have enough money. I'm not making enough money in my job. You feel like you have to give me extra. It offends them, and it's just learning like you said, it's just learning and getting outside of your own way. Because sometimes you be stuck inside of your head, and we can't see all the thoughts that's floating around in each other's head. So we get stuck inside of our head, get stuck inside of our mind, and then we kind of like project that onto the world. And then you get those people that, you can't do that, or I can't do that. And just like you said, I did an episode, and it was like, it's either fear, it's life. It's like live in fear every day or live in faith every day. And it's kind of what you're saying. Like if you're scared, okay, don't do it. And if you do it,
Right.
don't be scared. Like you
Don't
got
be
it. Like
scared.
whatever happened, what are you scared about? Going back to where you started, you've been there already. But if we just like right now, if we started, I can never go back to when we started because we're already in it. We're in it already. So if you're not, it didn't come out the way that you wanted, or you didn't like it, or started off rocky, that's done with. You're in it now. So continue to push forward. And that goes into advocating and personal resiliency. So even I have a movement for the podcast this year, and there's 100 no's to yes. And it's kind of the same thing with getting out of that. Like people be like, I tried. Okay, try again. You have not tried enough times to quit. So before you get to 100 no's, and it may not take 100 no's to get to your first yes, but if you don't at least at a minimum get to 100 no's before you get a yes, you ain't tried hard. You ain't tried hard enough. Like we're trying to build up that resiliency muscle, and you have to exercise the muscle in order to build it up. So with that, so with the lessons and experience that you can help people through challenges in their life to help build up their resiliency. Like what are some of that you have that can help people?
Like I say, people have been told, there's studies, before you reach the age of 18, you've been told over 100,000 times no. You're too small, you're too big, you're this, you're that, blah, 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 blah. No, and then I come along, in a few minutes, I have to convince you that yes, you can. Well, some people are ready for the message and some people aren't.
Yeah.
But if you're open to it, I'll convince you that yes, you can.
Yes.
Yes, you can. That's what I say. Start showing people. I can show you all kinds of examples of people that came up from little enough. I mean, you don't know my past. I don't want to know your past. All right.
It don't matter. We're here now. We're right here.
Everybody has a story.
Exactly.
Yeah, and people have been kicked a lot harder than you've been kicked. Believe me.
Exactly.
You think you don't know what I've been through. Well, there's some people been through it too. And now look where they are. So yes, you can. Like I'm like empathetic with people, but I say, don't tell me that you can't, because I know you can. Do you want one person said, I really agree with it. The hardest thing is deciding.
Yes.
That's the hardest thing.
The hardest
thing. The rest is just tenacity.
Yep. Like you said, that backbone. The backbone. And once again, you say powerful stuff so calmly. when you said like by the age of 18, you have been told so many no's.
Over 100,000 times
Over 100,000 times no. And just saying that is just like when they run into people like you and me or anybody else that can kind of break them out of that shell, I have to convince you in less time, because I may only get a week with you, or I only may know you for a month or two, and I have to instill in you 200 or 300,000 yeses in order to start even starting to crack the shell on no. And like I said, my podcast is big on it. Just like that's what I'm here for, self-improvement through normal everyday people. Like that's our whole mission statement, to tell people like change your mindset. You can do it. Like the world has told you that you have to do this. The world has told you that you have to do that. You're not good enough. Your race is down. This person is up. Forget all of that. What do you want to do? Okay, let's figure out how to get there. Like you said, success has clues. What steps do you need to take to get there? Because you able to get it. It's gonna be hard, but just like failure, just like sitting there and just having that regret, like, man, I didn't even try. I didn't even try. And you kind of get out of that because even when you start, you like, man, why didn't I try? You're scared. Why are you scared? Because like you said, those 100,000 no's before you're 18, you can't do that. Girls ain't supposed to do that. Boys not supposed to do that. You don't need to do music. This makes you look this way. That makes you look this way. So, yeah, you just said it's so calm, and it's like, where are you getting this stuff from?
Yeah, like, what you brought up was good, like mental set.
Yeah, yeah, the mind,
Well,
yeah,
I like what I call it like attitude.
yeah,
And the best way to describe, people use these words. What does it mean? It means how you see yourself.
yep, yep.
Because a lot of people did that. Well, when I say, "Oh, you're a winner," and they're thinking, "No, I'm not."
I ain't no
Well,
winner.
you don't. You have. It's how you perceived it. You haven't looked back on all the wins you had.
Mm-hmm.
Just being born was a win.
Mm-hmm.
You don't realize how the odds of it against you being born and the
Exactly.
odds of you surviving your first year as a child. The odds are against you, but you beat all those odds.
Even completing the things that we find so simple, like completing elementary and stuff like
Yeah,
that. And you think back, like you said, your love history, that wasn't normal. You start a family, you drop out of school. It's no completing. Then you have people that started. I'm the first person to actually go through high school, complete high school, go through middle school, go through college. Just the smallest things that you never understand. They're like, no, you are a winner. I'm getting another certificate. I'm in the process of getting another certification now on my way out of the service. And I was never big on going to college, and I'm still iffy on it. Like, I like it, you get the degrees, whatever. I just love learning, so that's how I have to set my mind to it. But the instructor asked everybody in the class, and we're a small class. It's only about 14 of us, and he was like, "How many people have a college degree that's sitting in this class right now?" And I was the only one who hand went up, and I was surprised. And I'm saying that to say, like, something so small that I thought everybody was doing it. When I
right.
started my degree, I was like, I'm behind. Everybody's been telling me go to school. I was such like you say, like, you get told to do all this stuff, and you kind of get into that stage of rebellion. And it's like, not in a negative way. It's just like, okay, you're telling me that I have to do it this way, and I'm gonna show you that I don't have to. I'm gonna show you that I can be just as successful or more successful as you without doing that. But just like you say, that small win, I turned around and I was like, what the hell? Like, something
Right.
so small to be like,
It
man.
may be small to you, but it's big to other people. They could have never done that.
Exactly.
They're not good.
Exactly.
It's like somebody's been through the military, basic. A
Yeah.
lot of people can't make it through basic.
Yeah. A lot of people don't get through basic. A lot of people don't make it through their first contract. You're
Yeah.
like, what the?
And it's a lot mentally tougher than it's physically tough.
Yes. Yes.
Because there are people that are super athletes can't make it through basic.
Yeah.
They're super athletes, they can't handle it.
Yeah. And like you say, attitude is some people that just can't get over that. I'm teaching you to be a soldier, so you do not know how to be a soldier yet. Um, excuse me.
Right.
It'd be the smallest thing of just being able to take directions, because coming up as a lower enlisted, that's all you know. As an officer, it's a little bit different, because some officers, they can come in and they can tell us what to do, and they have never ever walked a mile in our shoes, because officers they don't go through basic training. Some of them go through JROTC. Well, most of them, they go through JROTC, or they get picked up in the army, and in college, and they get recruited in college. So they can't tell you how basic it is. They can only tell you how the army is supposed to be conducted on paper. And eventually, as they come through the army, they learn. But it's the smallest thing, because you can look at there, and your commander could have great resilience, but he could have 6 years of college, and you have 6 years of military service. You're standing there saluting him, but you have a little bit more. And this is just my personal opinion from being in the service, and you learn that you have a little bit more than some of the people that you like on the outside looking in, like officers and lieutenants. You like, dang, how long you been in? Oh man, no, that's not how it works. We don't do that. You gonna get
Right.
yourself hurt, sir. But just like you said, but that just ties back into your biggest message. Even a lot of people don't believe in dreams. A lot of people, they can't fathom having a dream a day. They like people talk about it, but they don't understand. They don't truly understand that this was a dream. This was a vision. This was something that I literally came up with in my mind, and I pulled it out of my mind into reality. Like a lot of people don't get that. So I guess you said it a little bit, getting people to believe, but have you ever ran across a client that didn't believe? Like for you to be dreamers and somebody was like, I don't dream. I can't fathom what having a dream is to even get to it. Have you ever ran across that?
Well, some people, you have to even explain to them what visualization is.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I can break it down. But I find that surprising, but I can do it.
Yeah.
I say, hold out your hand. Now imagine there's an orange in it. Feel the weight in your hand. See the color.
Yeah.
Smell the smell. And before long, they're doing it. I say, okay, you're visualizing. You just did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they say, see it in my mind? Well, what are you talking about?
That's
So
the
some
whole.
people, you got to break it down. But like I say, I'm very patient with people that are open, if they're open to
Yes.
it.
Yes.
But if you're not open to it, well, whatever. Like I said, I've given up trying to convince anybody.
And
I'm
that,
just looking for my tribe, man.
and like you said, it gets so draining. But taking it back biblical. If just like I can't think of the scripture off of my head, but it's like if you sit there and argue with a fool, then it's like when if somebody walks up,
Right.
they don't know which one the fool is. And I think that is so powerful because you feel like you're this big person or whatever, or you're literally trying to convince somebody of your point. And it's just like with the Heavenly Father, like you're saying, I'm done trying to convince. I don't know why we get it birthed in our head, but we're born through sin, but we get it birthed in our head like, oh, you have to get somebody to believe what you believe. But Jesus Christ literally walked the earth being himself, and he recruited on being himself. And it's a joke, like, what would Jesus do? But it's like, at what point did he try to convince somebody I am what I am? He just said, I am what I am. You are not, you're blasphemous. You that I am what I am. I am him. I am the great I am. So it's just like what you're saying. It's the same thing. It's just like everybody doesn't have to believe. That does not take away from what you are. You could think that Toyotas are trash cars and somebody could love them. Like it doesn't take away that Toyota's still a Toyota. But the value that we sometimes let people put on us drags us down. It hurts our resiliency. It's like you drive a piece of crap car, then you're a piece of crap or whatever, or that whatever. You're not even waste my time, or you have to believe in Jesus Christ, this, that, and the third. Like no, like you have a choice. If that was the case, if he wanted us to believe and worship him, we would have been born angels, and we wouldn't have known nothing different but to worship him. But that's why, like they say, the angels are of humans because we have the choice to say, yes, Heavenly Father, I accept you as my Lord and Savior. It's the Holy Spirit. But I think, like you say, I think it's so simple. Overthinking, understanding, like we already know this stuff, but it's like we sit there and we just get caught up in our heads, and when we get to thinking like it's not that simple. I'm not doing it
And it's
right.
hard for some people. I tell them that they should trust their gut.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
In my own experience, I think that's like God talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's your gut. Listen to your gut.
I call
They'll
it
tell
the
you
Holy
which way to
Spirit.
go.
Yeah.
I have a story for that too. This farmer and his kids were on a farm, and a stray horse came up on the farm. And one of the kids got on its back, took it down the road. And before long, he came to a house. And the farmer said, "How'd you know I live here?" He said, "I didn't. But the horse did. All I had to do is keep him on the road."
And he went to where he needed to be.
Yeah. Occasionally he'd go off and get grass, but just keep, get him back on the road because the horse knows the way home if you can keep him on the road.
He know how to get to where he's going. Yeah, that's
And
powerful.
your gut knows which way you should go if you just listen to it.
If you just listen, and that comes with the second guessing of yourself. That's what you're saying. That's so.
Right.
Like I said, you just said it so calm. Some of these things you're saying is gonna change people's lives, and you're just saying it like like you said, a morning coffee. Like this is normal. Y'all know this already.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just
Until they're ready,
Yeah.
They gotta be ready for it.
Yeah. And I I would say that I believe that my supporters, and if you tune in to this podcast, you are ready for it. Like you are ready to have that self belief in yourself. So we're gonna get into the last segment, the science behind success. So we kind of already hit on it throughout the whole episode, but the patterns and habits behind high performers. So you say success isn't random. What's the science behind success of that statement?
It isn't random because there's the people that success, if you study them, they basically follow the same path.
Mm-hmm.
They may have did it different ways, but their mindset's a certain way. They thought a certain way. They did it a certain way. And they did things different than other people. People stand out is the people that, like Alexander the Great, when he cut the Gordian knot.
Yeah.
You heard that story?
Yes, sir.
Whoever can undo the knot will become king of Asia or king of Persia. Well, he looked at it a while and he just took out his sword and cut it.
Yep.
Well, they didn't say how you were to undo it. They just said undo it.
And
Everybody else
did
had tried to figure out the knot.
Yeah.
He just cut it.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, stupid, simple. It's not, the science behind it, like like the book Think and Grow Rich, and the book. Actually, there was a bigger book written before it, the 16 Principles of Success, something like that. I think you can still find that.
I done read Think Grow Rich.
You did?
Yeah, I didn't read the. That's a lot. I've listened to the audio book on it. I listened to the audio.
Yes, the Think and Grow Rich was the condensed version.
Yeah.
And what he had done, my understanding, what he'd done, supposedly, he went out and he just met these people. I mean, he'd go meet him. Well, why am I meeting this guy? Well, go meet him. Carnegie supposedly met him, like sent him go meet this guy, and he meets a guy, and he's just a mechanic. He had to wipe off his dirty hands before he could shake hands.
Yeah.
That was Henry Ford before he became Henry Ford.
Yeah.
Now, how did he know that this guy's going to become? Because he knows.
He knows. And man, that's what I said. Like that's what gets me on fire, and that's what like gives me the passion, or just like like you said, that gut feeling, like just keep going. Or even with the guests and stuff that I bring on, like I'm so set and, like you said, excuse my language, hell bound on having just normal everyday people that you think that, like sometimes people get on their podcast and they bring on this celebrity and y'all want to talk to you, and the world is already exposed to these people. I want to use my platform to expose the world to people that are within your reach, that like you're overlooking these millionaires, these successful people. You overlooking these Henry Fords, and you're trying to get the people that's not up there. You're not in their realm. That's not saying you won't be there one day, but you're not there yet. And it's people that could get you there that you're overlooking, and because you're feeling like, oh no, they're not on the same thing, or they're not successful, because we have this ideal of what success looks like. And that's like this segment, the science behind success. That's what you need to pay attention to. Not so much like what success look like, but you don't understand how to take it there. You know that a plane flies, but do you understand the science behind making the plane fly? No, you don't. You don't understand it. So you overlook the mechanic that works on it. You overlook that, but you want to talk to the pilot. And me being in aviation for 5 years, pilots are extremely smart. Do not get me wrong, but it's a lot of stuff at the back of the plane and intricate parts of the plane pilots have no ideas about, because they fly. They fly, and we actually work like, oh no, sir, you don't supposed to do it like that. Or, hey, you need to duck before you go back there. Or, don't do this at the same time as that. You're gonna flip it, and you feel like, man, they fly the plane. They make the big bucks, and that's true. And you should talk to them, but also understand that does not diminish the mechanic that's working on the plane. They get paid the big bucks too. The pilot just has more. Something goes wrong or whatever, they get blamed. They're just the face of it. So once again, you so calm with it, but powerful statement. It's exactly.
Team now, could he?
Exactly. Like people wouldn't understand. I feel like celebrities are the same way. Like, oh, they're so glam, and that team is raggedy. Like that team is like ran so ragged. Like it's a lot. The pilot, because they do because their job is so important. Somebody is picking up that slack, and it's like, okay, all right, yeah, we have to do this, we have to do that. People wouldn't imagine. Like they see these people, and once you get a team and once you get successful, it's a lot of stuff that we do normally that people don't do anymore. Like how many celebrities do not drive a car. And it's just like couldn't get behind the wheel of a car if you needed them to, but you're trying to like run down and talk to these people. What if you talk to the assistant to that person or, this person to that person? So I think that's powerful. So you kinda already answered this too, but what are daily rituals do you swear by that you would recommend to your clients in order to be successful?
Set aside some time each day to just relax, either a comfortable chair or laying down, not so comfortable you go to sleep. And just for about 20 minutes, once or twice a day, just think about what you want.
Yeah.
Contemplation leads to reality.
Yeah.
And besides the manifestation part of it, it's good for your health.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, whether you call it it's a meditation, contemplation, because when you think about what you want and you see yourself living it, it's wonderful for your health. Because I tell people Monday, more people commit suicide and more people have heart attacks on Monday any other day. Why? Because they can't face another week of their life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mental and emotional stress will hold you back and it can kill you.
It could kill you.
And manifesting, I can't think of a better way to do it that way, that mental emotional stress be living in the completed thing that you want to complete. You realize it's not done, but in your mind it's already done.
Exactly. You're
And that
just
takes
working
all the
towards it.
stress off you.
Is that you're just working towards it. You're like, this is here. I know it's here. And then, like you said, it makes you feel better. It's like you're working towards it. And just like
Yeah.
what you made me think of, even just saying that, working towards it, visualizing it, and it having basically, like you said, having a target to walk towards. That hurts a lot of people not having that target to walk towards.
A compelling future.
Exactly.
They don't have it in their life. Get that compelling future, and that will pull you forward.
Exactly. And it's just like like I say, like some people just get stuck because it's just like they cannot fathom. And that goes with trying to chase it instead of attract it. Like to stick to the magnet. Like you can chase
Right?
a magnet with a stick all day long. It's not necessarily running from you, but it's not meant to attract that. So I like I say, I think that's just so powerful, and that's
Have you ever
why.
seen the movie War Games?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only way to win is to not play.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Sometimes that's it.
That's it. Don't even give in to that crowd. Don't even give in to the
Right.
what you think. And I think that, like you say, having the right team and having the right thing around you, or because just like how you said, the success has tools, the science behind success. A lot of millionaires and people love Mondays because they look at it so different. A lot of successful
Yeah,
people
they
like
look at it.
this is a fresh start. Whatever happened last week happened last week. A lot of people truly start their weeks when they're supposed to start on Sunday. A lot of unsuccessful people say we have the weekend, but truthfully, the new week starts on Sunday, and you make Monday this daunting thing, but Sunday is the start of the new week, and whatever happened before Sunday doesn't matter. And it's just like I call it the mindset because people get stuck because and I named it and I speak to mindset so much because I learned one of the definitions for overthinking is being stuck inside a mindset and it's just spiraling, going down. This is that. This is bad. This
That's
sucks. This is, and it's just like you break a mind. Like it's literally just you trapped inside of your head. Your depression is literally you being trapped inside of your head. So if we could find a way to bring you out, pull you out of that mindset, and have you understand that you have it, it's okay, and I promise you, it's more simple than you think. So.
that is why mindset is so important. Which I say, mindset is attitude. Attitude is how you see yourself.
Mm-hmm.
When you see yourself as well, I'm trying to convince you to see yourself, then you'll have so much self-confidence, so much self-respect. What can bother you?
Exactly.
Bring it on.
Like, do you know? Do you know what it? And I think that's another thing that I learned. I speak about it on my podcast all the time with being a Christian, and just learning at like the age of 15, my pastor just instilling it into you. Like, going through trials and tribulations and tests and understanding once again that they're good. Like if you're going to a test, you must be ready for the test. That's the whole point. Like you're gonna go somewhere, a school is gonna teach you something, or whatever is gonna teach you something. They say at the end of this, you're gonna have a test. The test comes at the end, so that means whatever you have been through in life or been through so far to this point, your success is nothing but a test. And I think people get stuck on, like you're saying, just attracting it, going to it, because it's like once you get it, if I was just to drop this $1 million house in your lap, do you know how to pay bills? Do you know like do you know you don't even know how to sustain it? So if you didn't do the necessary steps to get to your target, you don't even you it's gonna feel like, oh, this is bad. I hate this. And you realize that it's you. It's not this. I can give you $1 million house, but I would rather give you a 30,000, 80,000, or let's do it. It's 2025, $200,000 house. Let me give you a 3-4 bedroom, and you take care of that. You take care of that. You pay the bills on it. You pay the mortgage on it. You furnish it, because if you can't do it with this house, how are you gonna do it with that one? And kind of to the point that I spoke about earlier, the small step is usually so much harder than the big step. Because the small step is just, once you get to the big step, you have been successful for so long. It's just like at a certain point, the military became so easy to me, and it's just like, dang, like I used to wonder like why it was so hard back then, and it's just like a switch, a flip, and it's just like this is easy to me. Like I just know it. Oh yeah, I need you to teach this. I need you to do this, and it's like I know it. Like you say, that attitude of like I'm not better than you. I'm not better than nobody, but I'm better than this situation, and I know I'm not normal. So I
Also,
think that's
another
good.
Bible analogy about being ready for it. When David was anointed king,
Hmm.
he didn't step into the kingdom right then because he wasn't ready. It's about 20 years later when he actually became king. And in the meantime, he had to go through a lot of things, including for a while living in Saul's castle.
Yeah,
So he was learning how to be a king and how not to be a king.
yeah, yeah.
But if he just put right into the kingdom, he wouldn't have had any of that knowledge.
You wouldn't have did. You wouldn't know what to do with it. I could
Right.
give it to you. I sometimes it be
You wouldn't know what to do with it.
sometimes you be ready. Like that's like the now you walk a mile in my shoes are heavy as the head to wear the crown. Like it's normal to us, but I'm like, all right, you want to get up every morning at 4 o'clock. You want to think about your business. Then you want to go to work, and then you want to eat. You want to learn you have to compartmentalize and shut your brain out, because you want to focus and still put your best foot forward at what's paying you right now, but also working on your future. It's like, yeah, I could give it to you. Sure. I love to take this off sometimes and just be stress free. But once you've been doing it for so long, it becomes normal. And then you talk to people, and it's just like, that's not normal. Like, what you mean you got this much money put aside, you haven't touched it? Hey, it's not for that. But you just don't even want to do this? No, it's not for that. I'm working towards my target. I'm working towards my goal. This right here is going to help me get something else. So, I got one more question for you before we
All right.
wrap this up. How can someone who feels overwhelmed by doing everything right simplify their approach? I think we lost you.
Sometimes you need to step back.
Let's see if we can get you
Take a
back
small
in.
vacation, as I put it. Can you hear me?
Let's see. Oh man, I think we lost them. See if we can
I
get your
think we may have been
connection
cut off.
back. Let's see.
That flash may have cut us off. Yeah, we're off the air. Damn. The power thing. The power thing. You saw it flash.
Hold on. I'm gonna see if he will come back in. If not, I think y'all still got a wonderful episode. It may just end a little abruptly, and we'll have to get him back on to finish it up. But um, we'll see if we can get him back in there. Try to give it about a minute or two. If y'all have not, and of course this episode will be uploaded to all of the listening platforms, Spotify, Apple Radio, uh, freaking Prime, all that stuff, Audible, whatever. Check out the live episode that I did on YouTube. Because you know what I've been trying to do? We had the car sessions, the social heartfelt, informative things on the internet, or shit on the internet for short. Those segments are all exclusive to YouTube. They're not posted, uploaded to anywhere else. They're on YouTube. So what we're trying to do now, just to see how you guys like it, if it'll work, we're trying to give y'all the episodes at least 2 times out the month, and then supplement those Mondays and Wednesdays where no episodes are being dropped, because we always drop video on Monday and the audio version on Wednesday. We're trying to supplement it with those segments and split it up like that. But if you feel like we're being dry and we haven't dropped the episode in a little bit outside of this week, like I kind of said on this episode, I have some training going on, so I've been locked in. I had to do a lot of state testing, and I'm state testing for something that I have never did before. I do it every day, but I've never did it professionally, so I had to lock in. I haven't really been talking, doing anything like that. Not as present on social media. Just trying to make sure that I'm locked in. But I passed all my tests for this part, and then I go into another 2 weeks of training, and then I have another test that I need to take. But I did a live, because shout out, thank y'all. We hit 1,000 subscribers. 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I think we peaked at 114 and then we started losing people, but that's neither here nor there. We hit 1,000 subscribers. So shout out to all my supporters, all my teammates, all my mindset speakers. Because we don't do motivation. That's just a shot. We don't want the pills. We want the actual remedy and fix for it. So shout out to that. Check out, if you're not subscribed to Overthinking Understanding's YouTube, is literally Overthinking Understanding, or is OTUS, make sure I'm right, yeah, OTUS_podcast on everything. So follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok. Not be on TikTok as much, because I ain't blew up on TikTok yet, so I'll be like, but TikTok, Snapchat, all of that. Like, come get to know my little personality. It's not always about this. It's not always so serious. I know a lot of people telling me to lighten up. That truly is my personality. Like, I'm funny. I got a little different things with me, but 9 times out of 10, I'm serious. But I am on a mission. I'm on a mission to be successful and continue to make the little version of me proud. So, in my mind, it takes me being serious. It does not look like we have Reggie popping back up here. I will put all his information in the link for this episode. Technology works like that. Reggie, I think it's Reggie Bowles, and his foundation that he's a life hacker. Life hacker, life coach, and founder of Dreamers of the Day. So, Dreamers of the Day, I'm gonna link everything inside of the description of this episode. If you want to see him, check his stuff out, do that. The last question, I'm gonna try to get him back some way, somehow, finish up. But we were finishing up. That was the last question. And let me see. How can someone who feels overwhelmed by doing everything right simplify their approach? I will say this, because I'm gonna still give it to y'all, even though he can't answer. It's just gonna be from me. I would say doing everything right is the same thing as trying to be perfect. In order to get perfect, you have to practice. And you could start off by practicing. And it's like I say, practice make perfect, or perfect practice make perfect. But even just starting out, something within the repetitiveness of you making a shot, or you're setting up for a shot. And even if somebody telling you like, hey, your feet crooked, your handstands is wrong, once you start doing it and you see it and you realize, like, let me move to the side a little bit. Let me fix the way that I'm standing. Let me fix the way that I'm doing it. It's the small things that makes the big things possible. And that's something small is practicing. You want the game to be successful. And once you start getting it down in practice to be successful, the game will be successful. And then your practice will be perfect practice. You do some of your most wonderful things in practice. You do some of your most wonderful things in starting out. And when people see it, it may not even be the best version of you. Because 9 times out of 10, you done made the simple things perfect. So in order to simplify your approach, break it down. Like you don't build a whole building. We got 3D printers and shit now, but that's a little different. But you don't sit there and build a whole building. Just I want a house, lay the foundation. You don't just the house doesn't get delivered with just that. Unless you got like a mobile home or something like that. But we ain't talking about that. So just simplify it. Break it down to pieces. Make it digestible for you. I'm big on that. It's mindset. Like make it work for you. If you don't understand what somebody's saying, break it down to where you can get it for you and still keep the message that's gonna help you move forward. So in order to simplify it, make it simple. If the freaking sandwich too big for you to eat whole, break it into fourths. Cut it into fourths. Do whatever you gotta do to digest it and still get done what you need to get done and not being so, oh crap, I'm doing this wrong. I'm doing that wrong. That's what gets you overwhelmed because you get to telling yourself these negative thoughts and you get caught up in these negative doubts and you like, I'm doing this wrong. I'm doing that wrong. No, you just doing it. And if you are doing it wrong, that's part of it, especially if you ain't been doing it that long. Even if you've been doing it that long, like we're not perfect. We human. Human comes with human error. That's why when you see a human do something close to perfection, you in awe because it's just like we're not supposed to operate like that because human comes with human error. So, um, closing reflections before we wrap up. Uh, just remember that you already got it. Attract. Do not chase. And some of the gems that did Reggie pop back in? We might be on for a treat. There we go. I was talking to us. It was gonna let you go back in. Okay, we here. So I answered the question, but I'm still gonna ask you since you back on. Uh, how can how can someone who feels overwhelmed by doing everything right simplify their
Simplifying your
approach?
approach. You need to take like small vacation. Step back. Figure out what you
I
want,
like that.
what
I
you're
like
trying to
that.
do.
Yeah.
Relax. If you have to take a couple of days off, if you're being overwhelmed, get away from it. It gives you perspective. Then come back stronger with clear vision. Because, like I said, life can overwhelm you. That's one thing good about having a team. Having somebody you can talk to. Hey, I'm having problems with this.
Yeah.
Have you ever had problems with this?
Yeah.
And somebody says, "Hey, no sweat. This you do this, you do that, and it's fine. Can't do everything alone.
Yeah. And
You
yeah,
sometimes need to just, like I say, take a
exactly.
small
I like
vacation,
that. You
step
big on
back
team.
when you're overwhelmed. Because if you just keep going, it's just too
Yeah.
overwhelming. You need to step back. It gives you a clear vision.
I like that. I like that. And I told him like break it down and make it simple. But I'm definitely a stickler for a good vacation.
So it doesn't have to be a big thing,
I
small
love it.
vacation.
Now let me go sit by the water.
Small vacation.
Small vacation, just a vacation, just
Yes,
a
and even
change
like
of
I said, the
scenery could do so
manifestation
much.
about 20
A
minutes,
change of
once or
scenery could
twice a
do so
day.
much.
That can be like a small vacation because you get off by yourself. You're figuring things
Exa-
out. You reinvest in your vision and get after it.
And like I said, there you go, saying it's so smooth, but it's so powerful. Like teaching even somebody that was never able to
Yes.
dream, teaching them how to manifest and bring these illusions to reality. It draws you
Right.
into a different world, just like reading a book. It's like, how can these pages transform me somewhere else? But if you can't make those words sing off of those pages, it's just reading a book. But if you can see it and they make the details and you could create the details inside of your head, it's just like you're reading a book, but also
Well,
getting a
like somebody
movie at the
once said,
same
you think
time.
you're
So
weird. I can
yeah,
sit
I
and
like that.
stare at a dead piece of wood for hours. That's what a page is, right?
Yeah, yeah. I ain't never heard that before. I had to start saying that. What you
Yeah.
doing? Staring at this dead piece of wood. it's it's pretty interesting. Okay, so I got a closing reflection question for you. Before we wrap up, I'd love to ask, what's one decision you believe every person listening can make today that could start changing their lives?
Take any step today that will lead you to where you want to go. Take the first step, and the next will be revealed. revealed. Like I say, go as far as you can go. And when you
Yeah.
get there, you'll see further.
Yeah.
You don't have to have
Yep.
it all figured
Yep.
out.
Yep.
You don't have to have all your ducks in a row.
Oh
You got
man,
you got
exactly.
ducks.
That was it.
You're ahead
Star
of most
Simba.
people already. We're about getting in a row later.
Yeah.
You got ducks.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
got ducks, man. Don't worry about it. They coming. Get across that road. Well, I would thank you. I thank you so much for reaching out to wanting to come on the show. I thank you for checking out the episode. If I'm not mistaken, I looked it up. The one that you checked out was the
That's right, yeah.
laughter, happiness, and peace or whatever. So I thank you so much for checking out the episode and wanting to come on. You have been a wonderful and great guest, and I hope this is not the
Hope to see
last
you
time
again.
that we're able to have this exchange and conversation. So I would say I always like to send whatever. I start off with shirts. So if you don't really wear shirts, I send another article of clothing. But I like to always just support, just for coming on and supporting the show. I would love to do a custom shirt for you. It'll be my logo at the front, and then something that stuck out from the episode, for me at the back. So kind of like what you said about like success has steps. That's probably gonna be at the back of your
Okay.
t-shirt because it's just so stuck in my head. But you said so many great things. So everybody doesn't want to give out their addresses. If you could send me, and it's just email or yeah, we didn't connect on Messenger. If you can just send me an email, a PO box, or somewhere that I could send you a custom made shirt. I just need the size and the color that you like, and I'll get that shirt
Okay.
sent out to you in a couple of days. But thank you so much. Can you just give us closing thoughts? Shout
Okay.
out your brand again. Shout out where we can find
You
you
can
out
find me at
again before we
our
close
dream
out.
is the letter R, dream, DREAM is.com. That's Dreamers of the Day. Um, and that's where you can locate me, or you can find me on Facebook, or you can find me on X. Used to be Twitter.
Okay.
And I'm probably on a
Yeah.
few other things, but that's where I spend most my social time on because I
Most of
can
the
only
time.
keep up with those. But if you're interested in come, what,
So
excuse me?
you don't have a YouTube channel?
I have an old
Do you have a
YouTube
YouTube
channel. I'm
channel?
hardly ever on it. It's from way back when I was trying to sell
Okay.
a book I had
Okay.
years
Okay.
ago. But I have a
Yes,
young
sir.
son
Okay.
who's
Okay.
getting involved in YouTube now and stuff, so I'm going to be doing some stuff with him. So you probably,
Okay.
yeah, you.
All right.
I'll be seeing more of me on that. But I can be found on Twitter or Facebook. And it's R. And anybody in Dreamers of the
All
Day is
right.
R Dream D. It's letter R Dream DREAM is.com. You can find Dreamers of the Day there, and that's a really good way to start your journey.
Well, thank you so much, Reggie. You're also gonna be featured on Overthink Understanding YouTube. We always drop the audio on Wednesday and the
Right.
visual on Monday on the YouTube channel, Overthink and Understanding. But when it gets sent out, I'll send you out an email and everything that episode is posted. Especially because you don't have Facebook. Like I say, throughout the Facebook groups, a lot of people like reach out to me on Messenger, and then we'll move it to the emails. But we started out in the emails, and I'll make sure that you're able to see the recording and get you the footage of this recording so you could
Sure thing.
pass it out however that you want to. So, to the listeners that checked out this episode, as always, be genuine to yourself and kind to others. Thank y'all for checking out this episode.